Welcome to week 3 of Child and Adolescent Nutrition and Health. This week we are going to be covering feeding toddlers, preschoolers, and school-aged kiddos. We'll focus more on the school-aged kiddos next week, but we're going to do a little bit of introduction because that's what's found in Chapter 5. So here we go. This week you can find, as always, in the course overview, the learning outcomes, the required reading, what we're going to be following this week. This randomized trial of peanut consumption is something that you can read on your own, as well as the mothers of obese children that can help incorporate maybe into your discussion board post. But we're going to be doing an alternative in-class assignment. Make sure that you're reading Chapter 5 before class. Take the quiz because this is going to help facilitate that conversation. So what are we going to be doing in class? In class, we will be presenting on the toddler feedings. We'll also talk about that article, Mothers of Obese Children, because that's something that is really important, that our diet-obsessed culture that we live in projects a lot of disordered eating, and it starts at a very young age. So it's really important it's important for mothers to be mindful of what they're saying to their children, and oftentimes it's from good intentions, but it can be skewed and interpreted incorrectly. We'll talk about toddler case studies, and then in addition, we're going to do this in-class assignment. The in-class assignment is going to start preparing you for your final project, as well as get you prepared for the infant feeding plan and the toddler case study here. That is going to be the wrap up for the agenda. So let me talk a little bit more about the actual assignments here. We have a couple of assignments to do this week. So let's start with the discussion board post. Here is another lesson plan similar to what we did the week before, except for you are now going to be giving a lesson plan on feeding infants. So the lesson plan is geared towards the parents of the infant class, okay? You can't teach infants how to eat because that's just a natural thing that they're learning and exploring as they develop. So this is for the parents of the infants in your class. And you want to explain taste, colors, textures of the food, and why they're transitioning, when they're transitioning, what types of foods they should be transitioning into. Okay, the class has 6-month-old babies, 10-month-old, and 11-month-old. So the 6-month-olds compared to the 10 and 11th are going to be very different stages for feeding, but you need to make this lesson plan relevant for the parents of all those ages and talk through how do you progress their diets. So how would you teach them this information? Adults learn by being hands-on, so that's important to think about how you're going to develop that. And then I want you to provide at least 2 important concepts or principles that you would actually incorporate into this lesson. Okay, so I'll leave that up to your creativity. And then what kinds of activities would you include to engage the parents and the infants in this lesson plan? Your initial post is due by Friday. You must follow up with at least 2 classmates by Monday, providing constructive feedback. Be respectful. Challenge them. Say, that's not what I found, or I found this, or did you consider this other aspect, right? Because again, the more you're critically thinking about it, the better your learning is. That is the discussion for this week. Getting into an assignment, this is the first big assignment for this week. We will talk a lot about this in class because this one's a little bit more intense here. Sorry, that's a bus going by. All right, for this assignment, you are going to analyze the following diet. So here is the diet that is provided for you. You cannot use Super Tracker because Super Tracker actually doesn't even exist anymore. The government pulled the funding and it no longer is working. You wouldn't be able to use it anyways though because this is an infant and it only starts at 2 years old for Super Tracker. So you're going to have to physically look up every single food item individually, create a table And you're going to have to determine if it meets the RDAs that are required for this child being at daycare, if they're half-time or full-time. And you're going to be using the CACFP meal pattern. Again, we'll talk about this a lot in class, but you're going to analyze the total calories, grams of protein, carbs, fat, and milligrams of iron. So here we can do another table. So let's see if we're going to insert a table. Actually, it's easier to do it this way. Insert a table, we'll have the food item, calories, protein, carbs, fat, iron. So we can do food, kcals, protein, carbs, fat, and iron. I'm going to abbreviate here for simplicity. And you're going to look up every single item. Here we have the formula. So for breakfast, it's 6 ounces of formula. So we're going to put in that food. We're going to have to look up the calories, protein, carbs, fat, and iron. You can use either one of these databases. So let's just click on USDA here. In my example, I'm going to put in the formula right here. So I want to look for the one that says with iron, ready to feed. Okay, this liquid concentration, it's going to mess up your percentages, so it's what the baby actually consumed. So we will select, so here we can see the infant formula, and it is ready to eat. Now you want to make sure, because on the infant feeding plan over here, it was 6 ounces for breakfast. So we want to make sure that this fluid ounce changes over here, okay? Right now it's only saying 1 ounce, and we want it to say 6 ounces because that's what the baby actually ate. So I hit 6 and then I hit enter, and now it's going to give me the calories, carbs, protein, fat. Here we have energy, which is the calories. So I'm going to scroll all the way over underneath this category, and I will see it's 121 calories. So then I'm going to enter into my Word document 121. Then I'm going to find protein, and this is in grams, and it's 2.95. So 2.95. Be sure you include the decimals. That's very important when it's this small amount of food. Lipids, it's going to be 6.57. So 6.57. And so on and so forth. Okay, I'm going to do one more example here. So let's say I want to get the rice cereal. I'll teach you how to do these transitions or changing the amounts that they actually eat. So let's try to do this together here. So this is going to be a food search, rice cereal. I prefer USDA, but you can use that other tool that's provided for you. So let's look at our options. None of these are great because all the rice cereals are crunchy and they're not necessarily going to be what that baby is really eating. So let's see, oat, rice, oops, or soft rice cereal. Sometimes you have to play around with what you want, and that can be hard. So just find the best option. This maybe not be the exact option that they had, but it's close enough. So this, you can see the serving size is in a bowl, so that is really challenging because how do you convert that to 2 tablespoons? So that's when you might want to go back, select an alternative, and it says container. Well, I don't know what that container is, so I'm going to go back. Let's see if this one would work here. Container, no. So you can see that can be kind of challenging. So you might want to use this self-nutrition data when you can't find what you're looking for. So here we can say cereal, rice cereal. And then here you can see a perfect baby food, cereal, dry. And what's great is this can change over here to tablespoons. And we can change it to 2 tablespoons. So 2 tablespoons here. So let's see, I'm not very familiar with this. As I was saying, I like USDA better. But since this is 1, we can just times it by 2. So this is going to tell us the calories, carbs, and fat. This one gives very detailed information. So here, again, we would just want to make sure that we are multiplying correctly because it didn't convert that for us, which it should have. That's what I'm confused about. Why didn't it generate that here? Okay, anyways, to continue on, I'm just going to do calories. So we would want to take that times 2, so that would be 19.6. We're going to do rice cereal, and then 19.6. Now, when it's all said and done, I'm not going to do it, but this would be your total here. And then you're going to add it all together. So let's pretend I put every single food item in. I would say, well, this total menu, so when I go back here, after I've put in all of this data, I've looked it up using the different nutrition databases, and then I've put it in. I would say, okay, well, the total calories consumed by this baby was 140. And then my second question is, what percentage, and did it actually meet the total needs or not? Yes or no? And here's your rubric. Did you do the calculations correctly? Was the data analyzed correctly? And were you able to say that it met the RDAs correctly or not? And then that is the end of that assignment. And then there's one other assignment this week, and that's the toddler case study. So this toddler case study is really simple. What you're going to do is you're going to be reading through, and you're going to answer 1 through 4, okay? Very simple, very straightforward. We used to have people plan a menu, but we're going to do that in class and practice just because it makes more sense. So here you're just, after you read this short case study, you will answer these 4 questions in complete sentences and submit it. Again, here's your rubric so you understand what is necessary to receive the full 20 points. And that is going to be a wrap for your week 3. If you have any questions, feel free to post on this discussion, ask your instructor, or give me an email. I'm typically faster at responding to email because Canvas doesn't notify me when you guys post to ask your instructor. As always, have a wonderful day.